Mike did 5 claps. That's new. My man started making a beat. Yeah. And we are back. We are back with another dope individual. Yeah.
I've been on my grind just to live it out.
I think it's gonna be a great conversation too.
Everybody knows me, really that's the old me.
Going through some
changes right here and now.
Going through some changes.
Just to live it out. Say what's on your mind just to hear it loud. Everybody knows me, really that's the old me. Going through some changes right here and now.
Yes. And we are back with another episode of the Dope Individuals Only podcast. I'm Erik The Host, and I'm up here with another dope individual. Please introduce yourself.
Yes, sir. It's Carter McKinney, y'all. The founder of McKinney Media, and I do a lot here in the community in terms of photography, video, marketing. I founded the McKinney School of Media and Marketing, the Entrepreneurs Club, so I also am a podcast host. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
I remember when we did our collaborative podcast with Sonidos podcast.
Big facts.
I think it was a couple years ago now, and now we're doing a podcast directly on your platform. Thank you.
Yeah, man. I think this is a little bit long overdue.
Yeah.
For the simple fact being, like, we have shared the same space quite a few times already. So, yeah, man. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you.
Welcome to the
Thank
show.
you so much.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. So you're up to a whole lot all the time. I'm always people congratulate me on my output. But you're somebody that I admire in the community for the things that you do because you're in so many different realms. Like, I've seen you at multiple events in one day. How do you do this and don't get burned out? Because I get burned out, bro.
Yeah, honestly, like having like a really great family and support system is key. Even like other business partners or, amazing clients that pour into you. Like today, today's a Sunday, and for me, normally Sunday will be closed, but right now I'm in a wedding season too. So I'm straight like 7 days a week, you know what I mean? Grinding, really taking care of my health too, like no cannabis, no alcohol, really just getting my rest and protecting my mental health. And just the biggest thing is like your team and your support system, your family.
That's beautiful, man. I know I've been to a couple events and your wife is helping you run the show. If not, she's literally organizing one whole segment of things. Can you talk about that? Because I work with my wife as well, and I know that support system is huge to a person's success, and especially the mental on the day of getting things done.
Absolutely. So yeah, my fiance Ashley Pizarro, she is a business owner as well. So she owns a salon. She actually really put me on game in terms of like hiring a team. Like for me, I was always
facts. You gotta give her a round of applause for that.
Absolutely, yeah. So she put me on game in terms of like hiring a team, how to go about doing that. On a lot of different things that she's seen from the female perspective. She's in a different industry. But yeah, I mean, it can be challenging because she's also a strong personality. So like butting heads and stuff like that. But it's all love and team vibes, and that's a lot of it. Just trusting people to do them. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna agree to have them in the space, then allow it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like what.
Do you mean that in terms of like you empower them to get things done on your behalf, but you also have to trust them to get it done, on your behalf?
Yeah, because like, for example, right, she has her own business, I have mine. So like I'll be in her salon. Like there's times where I've been like a student teacher and I bring in the students. Hey guys, write your names down, what you're looking to get out of the class. Oh, now introducing Miss Pizarro. She's going to be I like playing the different roles sometimes too. So what I'm saying is, in business and in life and things like that, being a leader, you have to, give the direction, be the final say-so, but also empower others to make decisions.
Yeah, facts.
And to be in charge of their role.
You got to see if they're going to sink or swim. Yeah, I forget who said it. It was like a great leader also knows how to follow. Mm-hmm. So I love that standpoint where it's like, I run my own thing. We're in a little bit different realms, but sometimes I'm coming in and I'm helping her kind of organize these things just like as she does for me.
Yeah,
That's
same
beautiful,
thing with
bro.
like education and learning. Like every teacher should also be a student. Like the dumbest person in the room is the person that has nothing to learn, kind of thing. You know, so I'm always trying to learn and just take what I can out of any situation.
A little bit more every day. I'm the same way, bro. I always feel like the moment we stop being students of life and our experiences in life is kind of like where we begin to die almost to an extent, because there is a ton that we think we know and we have no clue. You know, I had somebody on the podcast a couple months ago, and she was like, think about how many things you think you know because you heard somebody say it on social media. And it's like, that's how a lot of us get our information. That's how
Yeah,
we
and you
get
got
our
to check your
news.
sources too, because
Facts.
you know sometimes there's like bias and all kinds of other things that
Yeah.
happen too.
How do you feel about playing the social media game? Because you're somebody who runs a business. A lot of your business is also online as well.
Yes, absolutely.
How do you feel about playing the social media game? I
Yeah.
hate it, me personally.
No, that makes sense. I mean, honestly, social media is a double-edged sword. You know, you're putting out a message. Your message could be true or false. Your message could be in a way that people understand or don't. Or, you know, even if someone misunderstands, they could also spread that, right? So that's how social media works, in my opinion. It could be like really draining. It could be misinformation. It could be even toxic, depending on what you're
For
consuming.
sure.
So I would say, like, for me, like, I'm really intentional about the content I consume. So like, you know, I'm not gonna watch stuff that's like super violent or whatever, you know what I mean? Because that's protecting my space. But putting out stuff, I'm always trying to do high quality, you know, also you know, at a high volume, like, you know, almost every day.
Yeah.
And just being like really authentic. Sometimes it's hard because it's like, hey, I might not be feeling the best today.
Yeah.
I don't always post that. I kind of sometimes keep that to my family. But you know, if you're feeling good, say something. If someone could use a shout out, say something. You know, that kind of stuff.
That's beautiful. I love the part where you're talking about protecting your mental health because of social media. I know for me, especially over the last like 6 to 8 months, I've been getting a lot of things in my algorithm, like with the wars going on
Yes.
in other parts of the country.
Yeah.
Especially like when we're hearing about Gaza and seeing those videos and seeing them carrying kids out of rubble
Yes.
and stuff like that. Sometimes for me, I have to kind of just stay off the phone because I can't escape it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How do you filter things like that? Like, as far as, I want to be informed, but I also need to protect, you know.
I love that point that you're making there, because the way that I feel about it is that's your phone. That's your account. So take control of the things that you can control,
Yeah.
and don't focus on the things that you can't.
Yeah.
So if you know that you more agree with like a certain news outlet, maybe follow them and maybe unfollow or even restrict others on your own account.
Yeah.
And then
I use that not interested button too.
Exactly,
Like,
yeah.
Like they have it, like interested, not interested in seeing this content.
and unfollowing accounts that you don't want to unfollow.
Yeah.
If you met someone in person, you just don't really like them, you can still unfollow it because it's your account. So that's like taking control of the things that you can control. And, you know, you can control the amount of usage that you're doing, you know, not following certain accounts, saying you're uninterested, you know, that kind of stuff. I mean, me personally with news, it's really important to be informed, but I would rather like have like an e-newsletter from like Morning Brew is a company that talks about current events and business as well. And
Shout out to them.
yeah, Morning Brew. Earn Your Leisure is amazing. You know that? You
I
know
follow
that?
Earn Your Leisure.
Yeah, Earn Your Leisure is incredible. So like,
a couple independent news
Yeah.
outlets I follow, because I don't trust mainstream media. They lost my trust a long time ago.
yeah. So like, I don't know, TV news and stuff, like it's highly like negative. It's talking about, oh, this person got shot. This
It's
person got
rage
stolen
bait.
from.
It's rage bait.
Yeah.
You know, and I think a lot of the issues we have in this country, or what we believe to be issues, are either blown out of proportion or they're just straight bull. You know, and like, I live in Allentown. A lot of people, if you talk to people that don't live in Allentown, there's constantly a negative connotation about Allentown.
yeah.
But I could walk in any place in Allentown and feel A-okay. You know, yeah, I'm a gun owner, but I don't carry my gun.
Yeah.
You know, and things like that. Like, if I'm in a certain area and I'm allowed to carry, I might carry, for the simple fact being I know that it is dangerous. But we read those news articles, we see people talk on Facebook and on certain pages.
I don't
and-
think it's as dangerous as the connotation has said. And I think, you know, and I'm talking about Allentown specifically. And I would also say, you know, if there's certain environments where you know there could be a risk, just separate yourself from that space. Like, you know, going out after a certain time at night, right? That's why there's like a curfew for permitted drivers after a certain time at night.
Yeah,
And
facts.
you know, with different things, like you want to control the kind of places that you're in. Like, you know, don't go out to a club and it's 2 a.m. or 2:30 or 3 a.m. You're driving around. Even if you didn't go there and you're just driving around, yeah, there's people that could be drunk. There's people that could be tired.
Out there looking
Things
for
happen.
problems.
So
I have a question. This mindset that you have, because it sounds like you have a very good idea of what is good for you and what isn't. I know a lot of people struggle with, even if they recognize that something is more harmful than other things, they don't always eliminate it. But it sounds like you do a pretty good job of, like you said, like,
boundaries kind of thing.
So where'd that come from? How'd you get that? You know what I'm saying? Like, what kind of tools did you use to build that as well?
I love this conversation right now because this is like really touching on some things that people don't talk about enough, especially in like black and brown spaces
for sure.
and young people.
For sure.
So I would say, like, honestly, bro, like, you know, being like a leader, not only in my family, but in my business, like, dude, when you have people and you're like, hey, come to this place at this time, this is the pay rate and whatever, they're going to have questions.
Right.
They don't always have the level of experience or, you know, autonomy that you might.
Yeah.
So you have to, like, the simple questions of, like, you know, how do you do this? What does this mean? So those questions over and over and over again, being like a director or a leader, that stuff, that pushback has really forced me to restructure my thinking. Like, I have interns, I have students, I have young, you know, 10-year-olds that are in my family.
You're constantly getting a
So
lesson in patience.
Yeah, but but the thing furthermore is that, like, even the music I'm listening to. Oh, someone comes in my car and I'm listening to stuff that has cussing on it. Like, not that cussing isn't real. Like, I love hip hop and I love the messaging, but sometimes it's like the delivery as well, you know? So like that stuff I've been like really, you know, hyper focused on right now.
That's understandable. I was just having a conversation with one of my friends' sons. My son had a sleepover yesterday, and one of his childhood friends came over to sleep over. And they're like, "Can we get the aux? Can we get the aux?" So I'm like, "All right, here." So I give him my phone.
What you got?
Yeah. And I let him go on Apple Music. And what he puts on, I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, like, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah,
like,
what is happening?
Yeah, like, even though you're only 8 years old right now, like, you're gonna find people where they're interested in this kind of things, like, to live out. And I'm like, you know, even if you're not this person, consuming it is going to put you in a realm with these people that might actually be about this. And you might find yourself in a space where you can't get out now. And, you know, and I can speak to that myself. I remember 2 years ago, I was making some music with some local dudes, but it was in a rough area. And I didn't mind. Like, I grew up in a rough area, so it's nothing to me. But I remember the one day we were chilling out back of the studio, and we go into like this boxing gym that's like a garage. And all these dudes just flood in. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I feel really uncomfortable. How the hell did I end up here?
Yeah.
And so, like, whatever, I played cool. We get out of there. I go home, and I said, baby, I think I fell into the wrong crowd.
Yeah.
A week and a half later, there's a shootout right behind the studio.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you know, and I'm just over here just trying to create. And sometimes you slip into the wrong places. You know, how do you always make sure that you're in the right spaces?
Yeah, I mean, one thing leads to another, right? It could be the music, and then someone, you know, like I was just talking about a concert that, you know, a local concert that's coming up, and I was like, I used to love this person, but then, oh, they got canceled, and, you know, like, if I go and I bring 5 people with me, I'm basically endorsing this person, what they could be about. They're gonna, oh, I associate with this with Carter. I'm following this person on social for a year. Now I see they're doing this, and it's like I'm normalizing that behavior. You know what I mean? So like for me, that's kind of how my mind has shifted with things. And to make sure I'm in the right spaces, it's really just looking at people, their character, what they're known for. Hey, after a certain time at night, nothing productive happens, or these are my business hours or whatever. And then set your boundaries and then run the play kind of thing. And things should work out pretty good for you.
That's beautiful, man. I wish I just started learning about boundaries like 2 years ago. No lie. I swear. People could text me at 11 o'clock, and just because I'm up, I'm answering them. Like, I almost felt like I owed people something because I had information or the resources. And so, like, I remember my wife, one day I was just super burnt out, and my wife's like, Erik, you gotta stop trying to save everybody. And just because you can help doesn't mean that you should. And just because you should and you can doesn't mean you have to do it right at the moment that they need it. You know?
Exactly.
And one of the first things that was said was people ask me for money. At least they used to.
Yeah.
And so
It happens, yeah.
Yeah, like we own a business and do a lot of things. So people think I'm fucking swimming in money for some reason. I'm not, I promise. But people used to ask me for money all the time. And I forget who said it. They were like, look, if somebody asks you for money, hit them back 48 hours later and be like, oh, I just seen your message. Do you still need it? And they're like, oh, no, I figured it out. I started doing that, and I think people realized, like, oh, this dude's not answering me no more. But that was like me putting a boundary line. And then I also realized, like, when I put out boundaries for people that never had to deal with boundaries for me, I lost them.
Yeah.
And that was really tough for me because I'm like, damn, was it the boundary or was it the fact that, like, I no longer was appeasing to what
certain behaviors? Yeah, absolutely.
You know, is that something that do you not fear that at all? Like when you put that line out there and you're like, you cross it, that's it?
Because I think it has to do a lot with, you know, your own personal security with yourself. And that takes a lot of work, right? So, you know, your boundaries and your relationship with yourself on a personal level, with your business and all these things, it takes so much time to develop that. And it's an ongoing thing. And honestly, you know, certain people aren't going to fit into that. And even if they do, they might not fit into it now. Or maybe they did, and maybe it changes. So, you know,
I like that.
like
that.
So that, like, alignment, I call it alignment. You might not be wrong. I might not be wrong, but maybe it's just not a good fit.
We're not at the intersection
or maybe it's
yet.
great and then it changes. And, you know, life is seasonal. Like, I could be going through something. And then you're doing great, and I just can't receive the blessing or give a blessing or whatever, you know. So that's how I think it all starts with your own personal security with yourself.
I love the self-awareness, man. You and I have had plenty of conversations. We even did a podcast together, but the amount of self-awareness, I believe you. No lie, because I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, as you're speaking, I'm pretty self-aware as well. But like, how old are you?
I'm 26.
26. Okay, I'll be 31 in a couple months, and I can tell that you put in an insurmountable amount of work into this. That's all right. I do have a question because for myself, like my self-awareness and self-growth and development, my wife has a very big hand in it because my wife didn't grow up in the type of environment I grew up in, where a lot of shit that's not normal at all. Was normal to me.
Yeah, normalized.
And I needed somebody from the outside who didn't come from that world to be like, yo, that's fucked up, you know?
Exactly.
So she's a huge part of like the strides that I have made because she's my backbone.
Your
you know what I'm
sounding
saying?
board, yeah.
So does your wife play a role in this, or was that something that you picked up, like reading books or from family upbringing? Like,
yeah, I mean, I would say absolutely she's played a role in that. You know, my family, Ashley being a part of it now, absolutely. In terms of, you know, I always want to ask her before I'm doing something major. Hey, what's your opinion on this? Hey, what would you do? You know, and that's a really good thing to do in a partnership. And just like you said with yourself, you know, your partner is like you're the person you're around most.
Facts.
So you're actually going to take on some of their behaviors, and very much you're also going to give them on as well.
Yeah.
So the answer is 100% yes. Like, your environment is a huge thing to play, not only with your past, your current, your future. You know, say like your work environment. You know, like for me, family, like communication in my family was not good. It was, and I was one of 8 kids, whisper down the alley with
holy
everything.
smoke,
Yeah.
there's 80 y'all.
Yeah.
Where do you fit in
I'm
there?
in the, I think I'm the third youngest.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're almost the middle one.
Yeah. And for that,
Yo,
you know, I had to go out and just figure it out over time. You know what I mean?
8 brothers, 7
Yeah,
siblings
7, yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah.
What was that house like? Because I had 3 and it was a jungle. So I can only imagine 7. Y'all all grew up together?
Yeah.
Whew.
Yep.
What was that like?
Yeah, so, you know, we had a pretty big house, so everyone had their own space. I did have some rooms I had to share with growing up, But in general,
That's an
you
experience.
know, everyone had their own personality. I'm one of the louder ones that's more outgoing, probably the most out of the family. But you know, and then Ashley's family, I sometimes feel more quiet because like her dad, for example, is crazy. So it's like it's kind of funny
You
how
better hope
that
he don't
works.
hear
And
this.
yeah, yeah, he knows he's crazy.
You know he crazy.
But yeah,
That's
I
what's
was
up.
back to your question about you know, your partner and how they influence you. I mean, yeah, she absolutely had an influence on that. And, you know, honestly, I call it like being outside. And when I say being outside, people are like, oh, that means being in the club or whatever. No, when I say being outside, that's like interacting with people just like we're interacting today. I'm outside right now.
Right.
So that being said, you know, just really putting yourself out there, building experience, having pushback, people that disagree, and finding people that you also have synergy with. That's what I would say is biggest for growth for me.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. Um, I had a question. I didn't want to cut you off.
No, it's okay. Sorry.
Yeah, nah, it's all right. Yeah, man. Wow, 8 siblings. That's a lot. That's a lot. I can only imagine, man. Is there a mix of boys and girls?
Yeah, yeah.
Are
There
you
is
the eldest boy?
no. So I am the third youngest boy. I have one younger brother, and then I have. I'm like drawing a blank. I have four sisters. Yeah, four sisters, three brothers. It's half and half. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Mhm.
Your parents. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
we have a blended family, so that's why we're a little bigger. I have some step siblings.
That's what's up, man. Siblings. It's funny. Do you have? I'll ask. Do you have like good relationships with your siblings?
Yeah, I do. I do. A lot of them. Sometimes like they live further away. Like I have family in Jersey, New York. It was Connecticut. Now they moved back. Pittsburgh. And all over the place. So sometimes the distance can be a little much, especially when like, oh, you're trying to call people and they don't answer as much. You know, everyone has their own thing.
Yeah,
Like you have
everybody's
to
living.
remember, everyone has their own way of coping or dealing with certain things. So, you know, that is something that's tough for me because I feel like, you know, I feel like I'm doing so good and I'm growing and I'm changing and maybe they're not ready to interact, but
Yeah.
that's just also normal.
Does coming from a big family motivate you to create your own big family later on?
Yeah, in
Yeah.
a way
You
it
want eight
does.
kids?
Honestly, like let me be for real. Like growing up, I always was like scared of like having kids because I knew like the financial thing really. It's expensive from what I'm hearing.
It's only getting more expensive too.
So that's like on, and it's sad because it's life. That's
yeah,
life.
yeah.
Like a life. So that is how I've been like programmed is like naturally to be like, oh, I don't want a kid. I don't want a kid. I don't want a kid. And now it's like I'm having that, how can you say, like baby fever where I like, oh my God, I want a kid so bad.
I don't think you should let
But I'm a
money
little
get in the
scared.
way. I don't because I mean you look all throughout history, things always become more and more expensive. It's a joy. It's a joy to have. It's tough. I'm not gonna tell you that it's not.
How many kids do you have again?
Three.
Three?
Yeah, I have three: an 11-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 5-year-old.
Wow.
And two of their birthdays are next week.
How old were you when you had your first baby?
19.
19.
Yeah, he
So
was planned though.
What
It
was
wasn't-
that like for you?
For me, having kids in my family is very normal.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially at a young age. Like my mom got pregnant with my sister at 12, had her at 13, had me at 17, and had my younger brother at like 23. So like, and all the women in my family had babies really young, a little too young for my taste. But I had a medical emergency when I was like 18,
Mm-hmm.
and it's called testicular torsion,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's where your balls wrap around each other, and then sometimes you could lose your testicles because of it. And they told me, hey, you know, we saved both of them, but there is a chance that you might not be able to have kids.
Yeah, yeah.
So it kind of put me in like hyper speed. Like I got to make sure I can have
Yeah,
these things.
let's see
right?
what's up with
Let's
it.
see what's up with it. Let's see if these babies swim. So 19 years old, we plan to have a kid because my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, we had an apartment. We were doing pretty good for ourselves. So, yeah, we decided to have JC on, and it was a reality check because I thought, like, I knew I could rely on her. I knew I could trust her. I had a very good feeling that she was going to be a great mother, and I figured I would be a great dad because all I had to do was all the things my father didn't do.
Okay.
So that was kind of like my blueprint. And but it was like a rude awakening. It was like, yo, there's a lot that comes with kids.
Mm-hmm.
When these kids are sick, when they need something and you don't know what they need,
A
you
lot
know
of
what I'm saying? A
patience.
lot of patience, especially when they start to get older, and then they don't have the communication skills, but they're also in that range where they still want to be independent and they want to learn how to do things for themselves. And you have to kind of sit by idly and allow them to make those mistakes, even hurting themselves sometimes, where it's
Yeah.
like, I told you 5 times, don't climb on that, bro. But hey, you gotta fall
And you want to
now.
save them, but you kind of have to let them do their thing too.
Gotta let them.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of beauty in it because, like, I created this. Like, this is a piece of me. Like, even when I'm gone, I'm here in the flesh, you know? And so, like, the older they get, you get to converse with them. You get to realize, like, wow, they're their own people.
Yeah.
As much as I tried to
The
pour
little
into
adult.
them, yeah, they're themselves. Like, they go to school, they get their own influences, they find their own interests.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a beautiful thing. But then on the flip side, it's like, it is expensive.
Yeah.
Your life no longer is about you.
Yeah.
Even though you're 25, 26, 27 years old, with friends that you still can communicate with, experiences you still want to go out and have, you now can't move around as freely as you wanted
Exactly.
to. You know, just building a life with someone else who's totally different, who have their own traumas, who have their own beliefs, who have their own family structures and ideas of what a man's role or a woman's role or a child's role is. And now you gotta not combat it, but you gotta learn to work with it and then make your own guidelines and borders for your own family.
Yes.
You know, all those things.
And
It's
even your
beautiful, but it's
relationship,
tough.
with like your wife as well, like, you know, going from being girlfriend, boyfriend to getting married, and then how the kids play into it. Obviously the kids will bring you together, but also you have to focus on them. So it's interesting.
And then also not neglecting each other because of the new responsibilities that you
Exactly.
both share. Which was a big thing for me. I remember I started going to therapy almost 3 years ago,
Good for you.
and I needed it. I needed it. I didn't know why I needed it, but I realize now. But I started going to therapy, and we were having a conversation about something earlier that we talked about just came up, and you were talking about sometimes people are not ready
Yeah.
for the things that they're asking for.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that popped in my head, but there was a lot of instances like that where my wife, who at the time was my girlfriend, she was asking for things and she wasn't ready for them.
Yeah.
And I was asking for things that I wasn't ready for. And then even when you get into adulthood and you're married and you kind of get life figuring out, it's really easy to start to feel like roommates because you're not pouring into each other as much. You're pouring into your family, which is very different from maintaining a healthy relationship. It's very different. And you have to find a balance. I remember the one day, my therapist was like, well, do you schedule things? Because I was talking about being overwhelmed and stressed. He's like, well, do you schedule things? I'm like, yeah, I schedule out my work. I schedule out this. I schedule out that. He's like, well, where do you schedule out like time for your wife? I'm like, oh, shit.
And time for you.
And time for me, in this particular instance, we were talking about my wife, and we were having a more particular conversation about having sex, where I'm like, we're always so tired at the end of these days, and this and that. He's like, well, you schedule everything else. Maybe this is something that you might have to schedule now because your life is the way your life is. And for me, I had to like really get out of my own way. It was like, why should I have to schedule sex?
Yeah, yeah.
But it's less about sex and it's more about carving out time for each other.
Yeah.
Which is.
Yeah. Do you have like a date night, like each week or each 2 weeks?
What we do is we always get at least once a month, we go out and we get couples massages.
Okay.
And typically that's followed up with like a breakfast or a lunch.
I do that.
try. Yeah, we do try to go and like go out on a date. It doesn't always happen, but at the very least, we know we get 1 hour every month to go relax and at least share a meal with each other.
Yes.
And, sometimes it's not enough, but most of the time it is because we did do that on behalf of each other. So I recommend that to people out there listening. I recommend it to you.
Yeah.
Find something that you both enjoy and at least one day a month, carve it
Yeah.
out for yourselves.
Yeah, I know a couple people that do like, Friday nights after a certain time at night is like our date night. For me, I kind of am like a little more flexible with it. So like it doesn't like on my calendar at 6 p.m. every Sunday is Carter and Ashley time. But 9 times out of 10, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
It's usually like, oh, well, this event is going on, so I got us tickets, or, you know, hey, we're going out to dinner, or whatever. For me, it's more flexible, but definitely being intentional of always thinking about the other person kind of thing.
See, that's beautiful, bro. That's really beautiful. Let the people know a little bit about your business. I've been to a couple of the events that you. Well, first of all, I'm getting ahead of myself quickly because I want to give you a round of applause.
Oh, thank
All
you.
right. I want to give you some flowers because
you.
I done been to a couple of your events. I missed quite a few, but I've been to a couple of them. You put on great freaking events.
Thank you.
Great freaking events. Dope spaces to like aesthetically dope spaces, nice flow to the spaces. And you also bring out a very nice crowd of people. Not only just people, but the realms that these people work within. They're coming from all different segments,
industries,
all different levels of success.
Yeah.
And you put all these people in the same room.
Thank you so much.
That is masterful. And then you always have little side quests happening at these events. So you're never just doing it a Carter McKinney event. You're also, like at the last event I went to, you had multiple guest speakers. You had 2 guest speakers, which were really good guest speakers. You had your wife doing drinks in the corner.
Yes,
Yeah. I think you had somebody specifically for the charcuterie plates you had out there.
Yeah.
Was that
so
your
I had
wife
someone,
also?
yeah, someone sponsored and did charcuterie over there, and then I also had I did headshots,
And then and then
it
you
was
were
the
doing
headshot happy hour
Exactly.
in May of 2026. Yeah, it was fire.
So what I want to say is
March.
I want to give you your flowers for that
Thank you so
because
much.
that is
What
is
other
dope,
event
bro.
have you been to?
I think you did one. The Joneses was the other one.
That was the headshot.
That was the
happy hour.
headshot happy hour.
Yeah.
I honestly,
Was that the
might have
only
been-
one?
That might have been the only one.
It's okay. Not the one here though. The gala.
Didn't you do one at the Moxie?
No.
You didn't do one at the Moxie. Okay, so I might be thinking of Paz Simpson's event.
Yeah,
then.
Paz. Yeah.
I know Paz does.
He does a lot
something
over there.
as well.
I will do something there eventually because I love the Moxie.
It's a cool
I was
spot.
actually trying to do my wedding there too.
Nice.
But they were coming aggressive. They were like, "Oh, you got to rent out the whole building." Oh, all this.
You might need to talk to Paz, man. He's pretty well
he be
connected.
schmoozing them.
But so I've only been to one of the events. My apologies.
No, sorry.
But I have seen plenty of the events. I've gotten a few invites to them as well. And they look a lot like how the Jones event was, where aesthetically it's all put together. What made you want to get into putting on events like you do?
Yeah, so the first event was called the Photo Party. So that was at my old studio in Nazareth. It was a huge space, like, you know, this huge warehouse that had like 2 floors. It was a giant space, and I'm like, this just sits empty. Like, what's going on? And honestly, just like looking around, it's like, hey, there's not a lot of spaces with like young Black and brown people in creative industries and business, that combination. And, you know, I'm like, why don't I just create this for myself? So pretty much that combination of, you know, not using the space and not, you know, seeing a lot of people doing it, let's try it. So I had an event called the Photo Party. So pretty much I have a DJ, right? So shout out to DJ Romeo G. I work with him all the time. And then outside of that, I usually, you know, I have food, I have drinks. They were free to start. I can't really do free anymore because it helps me pay for my event. And it's a low cost way to come and network and have fun and having a safe space. You know, even the photo party even was a date night for some.
Wow.
You know,
It gave me a reason to tell my wife you can get dressed up.
yeah.
Unfortunately, she walked in and she was like, "There's so many people. I don't really want to talk to nobody."
Yeah.
But
Yeah, people are like that. But honestly, like networking, I love just like networking and finding people's stories. You know, like you're here for a podcast, but you're also a business owner. You're also a father. You know what I mean? So like people are multifaceted.
Yeah.
And especially entrepreneurs are. So, you know, you meet someone, you know, one of my best friends, his name is Darius. A Kid Nova. He makes music. And yeah. So
We shared a stage once.
yeah, so for him, you know, he makes music. He's a fitness guy, and he does so many different things. It's just one example of people that are multifaceted.
So what? Is that like a passion of yours? Is bringing people together? Because that's a skill.
Yeah, It's hard. It's
Yeah,
like herding cats.
Yeah, and it's a
That's what
ton
they
of
say.
work.
But yeah, I love hosting the events. Back to your question, the reason why I do it again is because I saw the need of, I would love to be in spaces like this, to be educated, to connect, to entertain. And honestly, it's just become a passion, bringing people together. It helps me grow my business as well. So, all those things together is really why I do the events.
This is a really weird
Yeah,
question.
yeah, hit me.
Do you cry like when you think about how far you have come? Like, do you ever like sit back, or are you just so much in it that like it takes you a while to reflect on what you've accomplished, in a short amount of time?
Everything for me, everything is balance. I would say a part of it is like I'm just getting started and like I'm mad young and like, yeah, I've done some stuff, but there's people that have had like 50-year businesses, 70-year businesses, and it's like for me, success is more defined by like being consistent and keeping it going. So I'm always trying to grow and continue on. I appreciate the acknowledgement, and yes, I definitely am proud of I'm proud of what I've done. That's a part of it, gratitude. But you know,
He said, "I'm hungry.
you can't,
I'm
yeah,
hungry for more."
yeah, you can't settle with that. So like for me, it's like when I have a group class, like I'm trying to outgrow the venue. I'm trying to, have like grow my impact. The name of the game is always impact.
Do you write down your goals? Like, how do you like? I have to write down things. Like every year I do a 12-month goal list. I don't always hit everything. I might only get 3 out of 4 because I try to get at least 6 to 8 things on that list. But and then my daily basis, I have a to-do list
You're
that I
working
write up
towards those things.
yeah, and big goal, smaller chunks.
So this is another shout out to my fiance because she loves doing like vision boards. So pretty much
You
it's
got to share this episode with her, man.
yeah,
She's getting a hell of
she
a
watches all
praise.
my stuff, hopefully. But pretty much she does like a poster board or a paper, and then
Right.
you take pieces of like a magazine or you print or draw what you would like, right? Your ideal life. So like, a vehicle that you want, where you want to live, what
Vision
you want to
board.
do. Vision board.
Nice.
So she even would do like a vision board party every year, and we do it with family and stuff too, or as a date between us.
That's fire, bro.
Yeah, and just kind of visualize what you want. This year I actually did it digital on it's a program called Milanote.
Okay.
Like Milanote. And it's a visual thing that shows like the vehicle I want. Like I really want a Cadillac Escalade. It's my favorite. I'm a
Nice.
big guy. My family, I have big people in my family. It's like
We
it's
need
just
we need the space.
like
the
like
comfort.
Shaq. Like Shaq was on an episode of a great podcast called Pivot, the Pivot.
Yeah.
And
Shout out to the Pivot.
Ryan Clark and the Pivot. I love them. So like Shaq was talking about going up to someone's house and just being like, "Hey, I'm buying your house." Like, just knock on the door. "Hey, what do you want?" "I'm buying the house for my mom." And it's just like that's the big energy that like I embody and that I
You're trying
want.
to exude, yeah.
And I want the Escalade. I want a big property. I would love to have like a family compound that everyone could live on the same property.
He's talking about stuff right now.
Yeah. I mean, some people's like, hey, like my brother sat across from me at the table and was like, "You cannot be a billionaire." And it's not always about like a dollar amount, but it's more about like I would just love to give it all away, honestly.
That's what I always say. Like, I don't know how people can just hoard wealth.
Yeah.
Like, man, I walk around even today. I don't got it like that. But the little bit of things that I have that I've been blessed with, I'm constantly giving that thing away. Like, sometimes I pull money, like I'll just pull $10 out in singles just so I can give out $10 in singles at various times. And I might give it to somebody standing outside of a Wawa. I might give $2 to my daughter or something. Might hand it out to a couple kids at a park, whatever.
Yeah.
But a couple dollars or every time I go to the grocery store and be like, "Do you want to round up?" I'm like, screw it.
Yeah, let's
at
do
least
it.
at least a flat number
Yeah,
coming
just
out
like
my
charging
bank.
it to the game kind
Charge
of
it
thing.
to the game. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Honestly, I think those little contributions is why God continues to bless me in ways that he has. Is because the little bits of generosity, even though it might only be 70 cents that I'm giving,
But that's big for somebody else.
it might, yeah, I don't know how it helps somebody else though.
Absolutely.
And I'm hoping that it's going to the right places. I'm hoping that it's not
Yeah.
just going into like,
Sometimes I'm intentional about maybe not giving cash, more so like a gift card. Like one time, my cousin gave me a gift card, And I was like, gift card, like it's for Amazon, so you could get anything there.
Yeah, I was
But
gonna say they're underrated, bro.
yeah, so it's kind of like, oh, sometimes you just give someone a gift card instead.
It comes off as thoughtless, I think.
Yeah.
But
Like a
I got
cop out.
I got a $30 gift card from Dick's Sporting Goods, and for the first time ever, I was able to go out and buy myself some brand new Under Armour.
Yeah.
Like, and I didn't have to get it off eBay. That's
Yeah.
right, and his Nike, his dry fit is nice.
Uh-huh.
And it was nice. And but I got it at Christmas, and I just bought it a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
So
You were saving it up.
comes up clutch. Yeah. So I'm not opposed to gift cards. If you want to give me a gift card, your boy's cool with it.
So how has your journey, like being a podcaster, how has that been? Like, we're on a podcast. Let's talk about being on a podcast. Like,
Oh.
how has it been for you, like being like a host, like, and creating a platform for others,
The platform that I've managed to create for others, like when I set out on this, it was I want to take ordinary people or everyday people. I don't want to say ordinary, but everyday people and give them a platform so they can highlight their dopeness. Because
Yes.
even though we're not rich, famous, or got millions of followers, so not as many people know us, it doesn't mean we're not up to doing dope, impactful things.
I love when people say we're already rich. Like, I say that to myself all the time.
Yeah.
Like, oh, can we do this? We're already rich. We're rich. Yeah, we're fine.
in millions of ways that we bypass because our bank account don't have 7 digits in
Mm-hmm.
it. But think about it, like, I mean, if you want to say we got running water when we go home.
Yeah.
That's some rich shit.
Yeah.
We got fat rich. I mean, we got fat broke people. That's you. Even though you ain't got no money at all, bro. Only people back in history that was fat were rich people. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we're all rich, especially if you live in this country. Even if you got it, you're at the lowest of the totem
Yes.
pole. You are rich because of where you are.
Your worst day is better than someone
Better-
else's
yeah,
best.
you got up and you walked this morning, and so like, I don't want to. We can pull back on that, but as far as being a podcaster, I think I did get to a point where my initial goal of making a platform for regular people doing dope things, I do think that I've gotten to that level, especially because like random people stop my wife and say, hey, and they give me a compliment to my wife out in public and I'm not present, and so the impact is felt, which is beautiful. The fact that I remember when I set out and I made the first episode, and I'm like, I don't know who's gonna want to come
Yeah.
up here and talk to me. But the moment I built it, people started to come, and it got to the point where like I got to be a little bit more particular about the messages
Selective.
now.
That's
I
who's
gotta
on it and how it's
exactly.
done. And
But even that is like a beautiful thing. I was sitting here listening to you talk about your warehouse, and I'm thinking to myself like, man, we should do a collaborative project where like you put on this, something like the headshot thing, and I can be the platform for the day where people come up and showcase their businesses,
yeah, that's fire.
their
Yeah.
entrepreneurship or something like that. We could talk about that
Yeah,
off
yeah,
camera.
yeah.
But being a podcaster has allowed me to be in a lot of different spaces. Sometimes where I've even had to, where it's like humbling to me, where it's like, I don't know if I belong here, where I don't feel like almost like a worthiness.
Oh, you belong in every room that you're in, and I believe that every day. Like
Thank you for
sometimes
that.
people will. It's so funny because like you talk about awareness, right? Like being in a certain room, like oh whatever, and then someone walks in and you're like, they're kind of giving you the look like maybe you don't belong. They're trying to other you, and it's like. You kind of just got to look across them and be like, I deserve to be here
belong
too.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, oh, I'm paying to be here too, or I'm here, or I'm no human too. So that's something that I always play back in my head. So the other question I had about podcasting was in term like how many episodes have you done and like what have you seen, like how has things changed from the production to, the distribution,
So how have things changed?
I'm
Things
switching
change.
roles a little
Things, yeah. No, I love it because a lot of time people come up here and we only talk about them or their endeavors, which I'm fine with because the platform is about that guest for that day. But it's always nice to play a little back and forth. The podcast has changed tremendously. I went from starting in my house, in my dining room, to I had a space. Big shout out to AFK Gaming, who no longer exists. Yeah. But he gave me my first shot at having a venue space and allowing me to be like, giving me something more to aspire to. I was totally okay with doing it in my house until like I started having people that wanted to come on the show and I didn't know them from a hole in the wall. And I'm like, I don't know these people as well, so I can't just bring them
in your house,
in my home where my children and my wife are.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
And so like it allowed me to like the growth of the podcast has been like it's forced me to almost treat it more like a business where like I have to schedule things, I have to have certain hours, I need assistance now and things like that. And so it's really given me something to take pride in. Honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I take a lot of pride in it because I'm not only being the vessel of somebody's story, but also I get to help bring it to light. And a lot of people who don't know them are now gonna see people who might not know Carter McKinney are gonna see them on this platform and they're gonna get exposed to
And
him.
vice versa. It's
And vice
just
versa.
meshing of the audiences.
Yeah,
It's
and so
beautiful.
it's a lot of collaborating. It's like if you want to go further, you go together, but if you want to go faster, you can go alone.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm just like you, where it's like I realize that the value that each person brings, they might not bring as much as some other people, but everybody has value, and I see the value in that. And so it's like it's beautiful that I get to do this not only for myself because I learn a ton, but also for other people to give them some recognition for the amount of work that they've been putting in for years, and maybe nobody has even noticed.
Yes, sir.
You know, so it's beautiful. The fact that I've watched me go from my living room to, you know, I have a venue space and people in Venture X that believe in what I do and are willing to help me. Even though I'm not making a ton of money from the podcast, doors have opened for people that people want me to come out to their events
Yeah.
and do live podcasts so people can highlight the people that they have at their events and stuff like that. And I actually just got booked for my first paid job 2 weeks ago. Big shout out to the Avengers Flag Football Club. You know, they brought me out to their flag football event and I got to do some camera work, some live interviews, some sideline stuff because I'm a huge football fan. So it was
Oh,
a
man.
total different realm that I got to step into. It's not the first time I did it, but it was the first time that like I got paid to do it. And that was a much different feeling. Like, wow, like somebody believes
Purpose.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Purpose.
And it was so
Glorious
cool.
purpose.
Yeah, and it was so cool. And you know, Mike got to share in that moment with me for the first time. And so like it was new to him because he had never done anything like that. So it was very gratifying. And I'm having a video that's going crazy from one of the interviews that I did for a Lower Macungie youth organization coach. He was giving some high praise to one of their flag football teams. And now the video's going nuts on Instagram. So it's bringing a lot more eyes to the
Yeah.
podcast and things like that. And so like with the podcast, I always imagine just sharing stories like this. But I've had people on where they come from certain spaces, and now because those people have opened doors for me because they're in different spaces, people have gravitated to the show and wanted me to be part of what they do. And so like I've always imagined this is all it was going to be, and now it's happening where things are flourishing in different realms. And to some degree, I don't really know how to deal with it, but I'm taking it as it comes. So it's awesome, man. I can't complain at all. It's very cool to be a part of and to continue to do what I set out to do, which is this. You know, so
Absolutely.
thank you for that.
Yeah. So in terms of like we were talking about events, like I love events. Like what would you ever consider doing? Have you done or would you consider doing like an event for the podcast that would bring listeners in person to network and, you know?
I got this idea, right? That maybe even you can help me out with it.
Yeah.
So we don't have enough conversations outside of social media. A lot
Yeah.
of people don't dialogue like this.
Yeah.
It's even harder to get a lot of people that are like-minded
In one place
at the same time.
Yeah.
One of the big things that I'm passionate about is politics. I think our politics in this country is, I think it fell off the wagon. We have a lack of leadership. We have leadership that is outdated. And we need young voices. And we need young people that are passionate, that care about average people.
Yes.
And also care about the state of the country.
Yes.
Like a lot of people, especially black people in our community, they don't care about America because what America has done to people that look like us.
Yes.
But at the same time, just as much as America has shitted on our people, America has also afforded our people a lot of things that we
Yes.
wouldn't have anywhere else.
Yes.
And so
It's also ours.
it's also ours.
Yeah.
And that's what I scream from the rooftops to get people to understand is that it's ours. We just don't treat it like that
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we're angry, and we have a right to be angry, but you can create the life you want to create. And so I was talking with Mike about this, having a live podcast, and I had imagined Inkwell. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. Okay. But I had imagined Inkwell where we have basically imagine Oprah, but this podcast in its open forum to have structured conversation, and it's young leaders, young community members, people who want to contribute to the progress of Erik of America or Allentown or whatever. But just have an open forum conversation where people can share their opinions. We can have some structure, and then we can also do it on a platform that cares about things like that.
Yes,
Which
that's
is
that's an amazing idea.
And so this is something that I'm working on now, just trying to get it down on paper, because I know that when you pull a lot of passion people into a space and you give them a microphone, it could drag.
Amazing things,
Amazing things can happen, but it could also be very, very long because everybody wants this opportunity to have their voice heard.
Yeah, but that's where you just implement the structure and plan, like sit down with, the people that you trust.
Certain what kind of topics are we going to cover, things like that. But this is something that I really want to do by the end of this year because I've noticed the power in this, and the amount of people that it's brought together. I've had so many people after they've come on this show, they start a podcast. I've had so many people after they come on this show, they had so many doors
on another podcast.
Yeah, guests on another
things.
podcast. They get job opportunities because people have seen, oh, he's a designer, oh, he's a videographer, and they've reached out because they've seen him here. And I'm so happy about that because impact. I love being the bridge for people. And so like, how many things can I bridge? And ultimately, I think that's where I'm at in this journey, which is like, how many people can I bring together, just like yourself? How many conversations can I start? How many people can we reach with a positive message?
Yeah, I mean, always. I think like even as a fellow podcaster, like we got picked up by WDIY NPR.
Word, so I did see that.
That's
Congratulations.
Amazing. Thank you. And then also, I'm really looking to take season 2 like up a notch. Like you have 2 camera setup, I do 1 camera setup. I am a media production company, but I also have to control how much assets I'm putting towards each, thing that I'm doing.
Right.
So I'm kind of like, hey, having an actual camera attendant like you do, and all these great things. So for season 2, I'm looking to do like B-roll, drone shots, motion graphics, all this stuff for season 2. And, I think it would be really cool if September 12th, we're going to be at Muhlenberg College. I know you like my events, so I'd like to invite you to that one. It's a Saturday at noon. In 2026, this will be viewed for all time, but,
Flex.
But yeah, I would like for you to come. And I think it would be cool if, you did a podcast and you interviewed some people at the event. That would be dope, come as a guest, but I think that would also be cool for the podcast as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yo, Mike, can you take that down? Okay.
But yeah, 12th. So I think that would be really cool. So that's going to be the launch of season 2 for the event. The launch of season 2 of the podcast at the event. And there's going to be a vendor marketplace, and it's going to be really cool.
Awesome, man. See,
I took some inspiration from Love is Blind. I really liked how they did their reunion. So at the end, it's like a blind dating thing. It's a social experiment on Netflix.
Okay.
And then at the end of the season,
this is where you only get to talk to people.
At the end of the season, hey, is love blind? Can you actually marry this person? And then they keep track, see if they're still together. And then at the end of the season, the key players of the season come on the finale. And it's a big group panel thing. Yeah. And that's kind of what it's going to be for the podcast.
That's awesome. I did think about doing that.
In front of a live audience.
Not exactly that, but like I have over, I think this is my 86th episode.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is my 86th episode. And so, I like, they're not all 86 haven't been with guests. I probably have about maybe 15 of them that are solo. But I want to do like basically a dope individuals cookout.
Oh,
where I invite all the dope individuals out
yeah.
and bring them all together, because I did start something and I realized that like the dope individuals community is a real thing. And like there's people that wear the pins, there's people that have the tees and they rock the tees and they send me, so like that is something.
So maybe for like the summer, you could do your like event at like Inkwell or somewhere similar, and then like as a the end of it, you could pivot it to like a some kind of cookout or something. Yeah,
I don't know. There's so many ideas, but it's like time. You need the time, you need the resources, and then you also need the team to help along.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about we have amazing parks. Like shout out to Northampton County, Lehigh County. I rent the parks frequently for like family stuff. And I mean, it could be cheap. Like sometimes it's like 40, 80
$40,
bucks.
yeah, for the day.
For like the day or half the day or whatever. And you could have, depending on the size of the pavilion, you could have like 50 people, 100 people. I have some upcoming rentals that I just always do it. I love them. I love
That's
the
really cool,
pavilions.
man. So we're coming down to the last 3 minutes. It's been an awesome conversation. I feel like we could talk for like a whole nother hour.
Yeah.
I feel like we didn't get to touch into everything. But you have another invite to come up on this show, so we can get to some more meat and potatoes of conversations.
I think it would be cool if we did like the dope individuals of the podcast space, and you invite like all the cool podcasters of the area to come and do like a panel.
That's a cool idea. I know there's a couple like
a super cast.
Like we got No Fugazis based out of here. We got a couple shows that run out of the podcast.
Tony
house.
Ortiz, the designer.
Ortiz, yeah. Shout out to Tony Ortiz, man. He gave me my first opportunity at doing a live show, and he got asked to do Reggae Fest a couple years ago, and he was like, I don't know if I'm gonna do it. And he was like, I guess spitballing from me, like just trying to see what I thought about it. And he's like, it's gonna be a lot of managing and things like that. He's like, hey, would you like to do it with me? I'm like, hell yeah, I'll take that opportunity.
That's
I'm like,
fire.
whatever you need, man. I'll bring a camera, whatever. And he gave me my first opportunity. He had the day structured, bought all the equipment out and everything. And he, honestly, like, he kind of lit a fire under me to be like, yo, I should do more of these because we made so many dope connections that day, so I don't know. I went off on a little tangent.
No, you're good. This is, I love this space that, your podcast is different in a way that it's just like a very open conversation. Especially someone like me, I'm also a host. So, I was kind of going with the vibe, but it's also just open where we could, talk back and forth and
spitball a little bit. Yeah.
So thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
Yeah. McKinney Media is, photography, video, and marketing company. We also do classes, we do events, even community give backs. So stay in touch with us on every social media platform. And, myself, Carter McKinney, and, I also have the Entrepreneurs Club podcast. So
there we go.
Stay
man.
in tune with dope individuals, man.
Yes. Oh, also shout out your lady because y'all do a lot of joint things. So can you plug her as well?
Yeah. So my fiance to be my wife is crazy to say, but Ashley Pizarro, soon to be Ashley McKinney.
Hey.
So she has lovely faces. It's lovely with two Y's, and she is newly in Hellertown now. So check us out on social media. Lovely faces, Ashley Pizarro, and Carter McKinney Media. What's up?
Here we go, man. Yo, thank you for your time. Thank you for the conversation. Thank you for the gems, man. I hope that you guys enjoyed the episode. And yeah, we're gonna be back around with some more dope individuals. All right, man. This is where you always gonna find the dope shit, for real.
And if you like some of the ideas, the cookout for the dope individuals cookout, the young people's event that we were talking about potentially at Inkwell, drop a comment down if you want to see some of these events come to life, y'all, because it's really for y'all. So
yeah, or if you want to be a part of it, like if something like this, help coordinate it or volunteer, or if you want to play a role in some way, shape, or form, you know what I mean, like
the podcast panel event.
Yeah,
a bunch of podcasters together.
You gave me quite a few ideas.
Yeah,
today,
what's
man.
up? Let's see something. So
big facts, man. But listen, I want you guys to always put your best foot forward. Always try hard. I want you guys to look out for your peoples, pray for your peoples, and try to make the best decisions. Create those boundaries that we talked about earlier today, man. And go out there and create the world that you want to see. All right? So make sure y'all shoot for the moon. And if you miss, you still amongst the stars. Peace. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I've been on my grind just to live it out. Say what's on your mind just to hear it loud. Everybody knows me, really that's the old me. Going through some changes right here and now. I've been on my grind just to live it out. Say what's on your mind just to hear it loud. Everybody knows me, really that's the old me. Going through some changes right here and now. I've been on my grind just to live it out. Say what's on your mind just to hear